Yes, you are listening to the Ready, Set, Retire radio podcast with Steve Anzoni. My name is Jessica Forkel. Get more details on the website at fairwayfinancial.net. I know you're busy in the office. I'm interested. What are folks calling about, talking about, or what's going on?
What's happening with interest rates and where can I put my money as a safe alternative? Those are some big calls. I got like 2 or 3 calls from people who were existing clients who listened to the show and said, hey, tell me about that pension type of annuity. And I cracked up because one of them had one.
Oh, nice.
But,
didn't even know
hey,
he had.
there you go. I explained how it worked and what he had. He goes, that's awesome. I'm glad I got one. But we're gearing up. We're bringing we have a new intern in here, and he's bright young man, and he's doing great, and he's going to be part of the team after he graduates. Cool. So, yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Interesting. Folks had a lot of questions about annuities. I think now more than ever, folks are really getting interested in the conversation of what we talk about. Literally, I think every single show here is guaranteed income. For some reason, the word annuity gets a bad rap in the financial world. I don't understand why, when the caveat is, hey, don't have money for lifetime. I know, you know what I mean? Like I can't understand why it gets a bad rap, but this is something you deal with every day.
Some of them aren't as good as others, but you could say that pretty much about every financial instrument out there. I mean, some funds are better than other funds. Some CDs are better than other CDs, stocks. You can make that argument for pretty much anything. The real key is to talk to a professional who's independent, who listens to what it is you're trying to do, and then goes out and finds the right solution instead of having preconceived ideas and coming in. So that's the real difference. It's all about the person you're talking to. That's the key.
The latest workplace buzz term with younger adults is something called a micro-retirement. Get this. It's when they fight against job burnout by taking a sabbatical. And I'm talking a sabbatical like months, years, that kind of deal, to re-energize. I don't know how they afford to do this, but it got me thinking about those that are close to retirement, thinking about retirement, and maybe want to take retirement for a good old test drive. And I wonder, do you see this a lot, and how do you help?
Well, that's kind of interesting because my wife and I, we like to do river cruises. She likes the small cruises and stuff. And obviously, you do one with this one outfit, and you get all kinds of mail about everything else they have to offer, right? So we got this huge catalog. So I was thumbing through it the other day and the weekend, and I found, get this, I found a cruise. It was labeled basically around the world cruise. It was a 138-day cruise, Jess.
What? Oh, my gosh.
138 days on a ship. Obviously, they stop all along the way. You make a gazillion stops with this one. But the investment was almost $60,000.
Wow.
Now that's a test drive, right? But I just cracked up and I said to Tracy, I go, wow, would people actually consider doing that? And as it turns out, they're unbelievably popular.
I was going to say, obviously they have them, yeah.
Right. I can't see myself doing that. I mean, I'm on a cruise ship for 8 to 10 days, and I'm like, all right,
I'm ready
we
to go
done
home.
yet?
Yeah.
But that's pretty amazing. I mean, I've talked to a few of my customers, obviously younger in their earliest 60s, who are kind of, been at the job for a while. Like, man, I don't know if I'm ready to retire. I can't sit still, but this rat race is driving me crazy, and they're always thinking about what's it going to be like. You know what I mean? So I totally get, and I love that, the test drive concept, because obviously you don't want to test drive yourself into poverty. You got to understand what you're doing there. But it's an actual interesting exercise because it's something you really can't prepare for while you're working. It's kind of like a married couple having kids. I'm sorry, you can talk about it. You can think you can plan for it. But as you know.
Yeah, there's no rule book with this. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do it and then deal with it. But it's interesting. I mean, I can see someone, taking a month, 2, 3 months. I mean, I don't know if they can do 6 months to a year. That's a pretty long sabbatical. But
well, listen, some folks, they literally live on cruise ships during their retirement. I think we've talked about this before. Literally, they say it's cheaper to do cruises all year round, hop from boat to boat, than it is to live these days.
Well, it's also cheaper than an assisted living facility. Yeah, I read about that a few years ago. Some lady who basically was on a cruise ship for the whole year. And everyone's unique and different. And I know some friends who've sold their homes and they bought motorhomes or the fifth wheel ones, right? You stick onto the back of your pickup truck, and that's where they live. And in the summertime, they'll come up here, and in the wintertime, they're down in Florida. And they're happy.
Yeah.
And they're
trying the whole thing out. They're trying retirement out, which is what we're talking about.
You talk about cutting your expenses, which, by the way, is the number one rule when you're trying to retire. The first thing you got to do is control the expenses. And you get rid of a house and you get rid of all that stuff and all those taxes. I mean, that's a big one right there. You get a pile of money. You buy the RV. Now, granted, these things can be fairly expensive too, but certainly a lot less than a permanent house. And so I mean, he's happy as a clam, and I see him every now and then when he's back up here. But everyone's different, and I just talked to someone, a client of mine, who's like, I want to get out of Mass and I want to move to Maine. She goes, the problem is, I'm not a huge cold weather person.
And I'm like, not the place to be.
Yeah, Maine could be an issue, but I mean, I get what she's saying. It's just the cost of living and everything in Mass is so exorbitant. And the part of Maine that she's looking at is somewhat rural, because I'll tell you, Maine could be off the charts too. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are just looking for alternatives, right, Jess? They say, hey, what if I do this? How about can I try this? Or I've talked to all types of people who have all, they said, hey, I'm gonna quit my job full time and I'm gonna go part time. And I kind of like what I'm doing. I just don't like the fact that I'm working 40, 50 hours a week.
Sure, yeah.
I'd rather cut it to 20. And can I do that, Steve? And I've seen some great commercials, too, from these financial organizations that I like, because they're emotional, and they have these couples coming in saying, hey, can I do this trip, or can we do this, And I love that. I love when people come in and say, Steve, can I do this? Can I retire? Can I go part-time? Because that's when the planning comes out and all the stuff that I've done for them. And I say, here you go. Here's the numbers. And the numbers say we're going to provide you with this amount of income. And they're like, oh, I can definitely do that, So it's eye-opening sometimes, too. And I think more people should consider it or talk about it.
I mean, certainly keep it on the table. I mean, it's, again, the conversation of, hey, do I take a sabbatical from work to try out retirement to see what it's like? All these different things. Or, hey, do I want to just go part-time to keep my sanity? I mean, it kind of all meshes into one. So it's kind of like before you jump into the deep end, start in the shallow end for a minute.
Like Florida, for example. Don't just run down there and buy a place. Go live there for 3 months.
Exactly.
Rent for 3 months, see how you'll like it. Because that's the difference between residence and visiting. So I think that's a great plan. I'd love to help people discover whether or not they can do that. I think that would be a fun exercise. And I am absolutely equipped to be able to share those numbers and show people what they can do with future money. I think that's a fun exercise.
I know we've talked before about all the benefits of annuities, especially, of course, the guaranteed income that they offer in the form of a monthly check. But how much should you put into an annuity? Well, here's annuity advocate Cheryl Moore of winkintel.com.
I don't think that anyone should put 100% of their assets into an annuity, because these are considered long-term savings instruments. You definitely need to have a rainy day fund or money market account or some kind of savings account where you can access your money in the event of an emergency. The answer is it really depends on the person that you're dealing with, on how much they should put into the annuity. But I think it's universally true that no one should put 100% of their money into the annuity.
Well, I think we could agree with that. We've talked about don't put, all your eggs in one basket, Steve. So when clients express interest in an annuity, how do you figure out how much to put where?
Obviously, I'm not a big advocate of putting all your money in any basket. I don't care how good it looks. And I wrote about that in my book, Tee Up Your Retirement. That's exactly what I preach to people, is to have different buckets for different reasons. And the annuity bucket is a very strong bucket. Like, say you have an IRA and most of it's in the market. And if you're working, most of it probably is in the market, because the 401ks are the best way to go for retirement. And everybody by default just payroll deducts and sticks it in there, which is good. But if you want a safer alternative and the opportunity to earn some good upside without any downside risk or fees, then that's also an opportunity to own a different type of annuity that doesn't have a lifetime income rider, but it's more of an accumulation vehicle. That's why that you need to speak with an independent professional who has been around the block, who understands these products. Because I'm telling you right now, if you try to do this on your own, you're going to go down a rabbit hole that is going to just drive you crazy. I'm telling you right now, there are so many different versions, and some of these companies spin them out there the way they do. And you know the old adage, sometimes it looks too good to be true. All that stuff is a reason why you need to talk to someone like myself, who's an independent professional who does this for a living. It's not something that I do on the side like everyone you're hearing now all of a sudden is trying to become an annuity expert. And they're not. They're just simply trying to jump on the bandwagon. And the last thing you want is somebody out there jumping on the bandwagon, getting you in the wrong type of vehicle, and then bailing out on you, because that's what these guys are going to do. So you want someone who's been in the business, who knows their stuff. I mean, we've done, 50, 60 refis just in the last 2 weeks.
That's huge.
Now, those are the people who are eligible. Obviously, I have a lot more customers than that, but there are certain rules for the refi. Rule number one is it's got to be in the benefit of you first. It has to benefit the consumer first, period. And number two, the older contracts, if you have them, have to be at least 2 years old. And that's not my rule. That's the insurance company's rules. Mm-hmm. So there are some rules. So not everybody qualifies. But the ones who do qualify, man, if you don't do this, you're going to be sitting there going, how come my returns are so low? How come my returns are so low? I'm going to tell you why.
Because you didn't take advantage.
You didn't catch up.
Exactly. It goes back to what I said earlier. When interest rates are low, you refi your home. When interest rates are high, guys, now let's refi our retirement.
Right. And, you know, for those income annuities, my God, if you're looking for a guaranteed source of income to supplement your Social Security, if you're one of those folks out there who don't have a pension and you need some more peace of mind for a bigger check other than Social Security, you absolutely need to stare this down, because these payout rates are up over 8%. Think about what I just said. For life, over 8%. This is not a short-term deal here. This could change your financial future.
Yeah.
Period.
They do.
End of discussion. So that's how unbelievable it is. And yes, I'm talking and I'm focusing my whole show on this because it's that important. It is. And if you haven't called before, or even if you did, call again. There's stuff going on here. I don't have enough time on the radio show to discuss, but I'll be happy to have you come in or even talk to you on the phone at 508-552-3230. Do it for yourself. Do it for your spouse. Do it for your family. This is the time. It's just like the mortgage refi market 3 years ago. Remember those 2.5% returns? 2.5% rate on a mortgage?
Sure.
Who wouldn't refi their mortgage? For crying out loud, you're saving $500, $1,000 a month, depending on the size of your mortgage. That's insane.
Right.
So you have to do it. Take advantage of it, folks. I just can't. I don't know, Jess, am I getting the message out there
I think
or what?
you are. I think you are. I know it sounds like you're beating a dead horse, but honest to God, guys, this is what we're talking about.
Not,
you are essentially leaving money on the table, behind the table, all over the table if you don't take advantage of this opportunity. And we can't say it enough. I mean, if you have an annuity, great, there's options for you. If you don't have an annuity, guess what? There's still options for you. This is not a one shoe fits all. This is a opportunity for everybody across the board.
It's crazy. I had some guy call me from the show a few weeks ago who wasn't a client. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, Steve, I heard your show. I have this annuity. It's with this big company who I know who it is. Again, I'm not going to mention companies.
Sure.
And I said, wow, yeah, they're usually very, very strong. And usually I say to people, you should keep it. But I looked at it. I analyzed it. He was kind enough to send me the statement. And I ran the numbers. I mean, listen, it's that simple. Numbers don't lie. Mm-hmm. You run the numbers. And I ran them for him, and I said, hey, I can improve your cash flow by 15 to 20%. And he said, what? And by the way, this guy even had to pay a fee to leave his old company, and the new company still blew it away with less money invested. So it's all about the check. It's not just the pile there. It's how much that pile can produce for income. That's what it's about. And if you're getting a higher rate today than you were in the past, you don't need as much to produce more. And he found that out to his delight. and we went ahead and helped him too. So there's just a few specifics, but there's so many more. I could tell you a million stories, but I would love to write your story. That's what you want, is you want to hear your story out there as to how you improved your financial future. So again, it's 508-552-3230, 508-552-3230. That's the way to go. And give us a call, and just don't miss it. Even if you get the information and you say, whatever, I like my low interest rates, I'm going to stay where I am. Fine. At least you know what's going on out there.
Get more details on the website fairwayfinancial.net. That's fairwayfinancial.net.
Steve Anzoni is a licensed insurance provider by the Division of Insurance and is not registered as an investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve Anzoni, Massachusetts Insurance License 3851053. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Anzoni is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Anzoni is licensed in your state, please call 508-398-3337.